Hey mama, welcome to Career Growth for Working Moms. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fit or burning out trying to do it all, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, a career coach and fellow working mom. Here, you'll get simple career strategies and strength-based leadership tips to help you grow with clarity and confidence. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time and let's do this. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am so excited to have Rob Z. Wentz with me today. Rob is a leadership communication expert. With Rob, leaders find clarity, take action, and succeed with integrity, making them the expert in their industry. Rob is also a Christian entrepreneur, founder of the Unstuck Movement, best-selling author, social media marketer, and strategist, award-winning radio personality, speaker, and influencer. For over 20 years, Rob has been connecting and engaging with people in various forms of broadcasting. Welcome, Rob. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, Shannon, thank you for having me here. Really cool to be a part of this platform. Very excited to be a part of this summit. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So, for the audience that may not know you yet, could you give us a little background on your story and what got you to this career path?
Yeah, sure. So the communication part comes from I spent 20 years in radio broadcasting. Most of my life was spent in broadcasting, and I love to communicate from a young age. I was a very introverted, awkward, shy kid. And so I didn't realize it over the years. Getting into broadcasting was my way of like getting myself out of my own shell without even knowing that that's what I was doing. So I spent 20 years in broadcasting. Then I switched over to a digital marketing company. So I ran a digital marketing company from 2017 for about 6.5 years. And while I was running the digital marketing company, I really fell in love with coaching. I met a coach that I had on a podcast that I was hosting, and she said, if you ever want to be a coach, I'd love to train you. I was going through some really difficult things in my life. And in that period of time, I felt that God was like, I was in like a wilderness phase of like trying to figure out where I was supposed to be. And for no reason, one day I was just asking God, what am I supposed to do with my life? And this woman's name came up, Peggy Caruso, who trained me in coaching. I called her up and I'm like, hey, we haven't talked in a year, but I feel like I'm supposed to be coaching. Can you help me? So she trained me in coaching over the next 7 to 8 months, and I got certified in life coaching, personal development. I went and got a certification in leadership and communication, and here I am today.
Wow, that's awesome. So, you talk a lot about authority, and so what is authority to what does that mean to you, and why is that important?
Well, when we speak from a place of authority, we speak from a place of things that we really truly know about and have spent, say our 10,000 hours on to become a master, an expert in a certain area. And you can tell when somebody's speaking from authority, and you can tell when somebody's not speaking from authority. And when you speak from a place of authority, you speak from a place of knowing, not just having the knowledge and information, but truly knowing in your heart the thing that what you are speaking to, what you are speaking about, your expertise. And I would never want to try to have somebody do business with me if I wasn't an authority on the thing that I was doing business about. And so I
Right.
encourage other people with that too. So I really encourage people to become an authority in their space. And the only way to become the authority in your space is by spending time in your space, learning from people, having mentors, having coaches, and really immersing yourself in that world. So I think being an authority is essential to being a great business owner, essential to being a great entrepreneur, essential to being a great leader, and a human being in general. We should have authority in the things that we talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And so, what kind of practical strategies could our listeners do to kind of help build that authority? I know you mentioned coaching and getting mentors. Are there some other strategies you would suggest for these women that are listening?
Yeah, I think when you want to become the authority in what you do, having those conversations, and that could be like if you have a coach, if you have mentors, that's essential, but also just people in your world, people in your field. I think we should always be a mentor to somebody and have a mentor, right?
Mhm.
Mentor mentee situation. That should be a constant thing that you're doing. So that's maybe right at the top of the list of like, if I'm going to be the authority, then I need to be guided, having somebody guiding me along the way, but I also need to be helping others and bringing them up, because you learn so much from somebody who's, leveled up higher than you, but you learn so much from teaching. So I always encourage people, as they're becoming the authority in their space, begin to create content in some way, shape, or form, whether that's, just making content for people that you coach or that are in your community, or you're making content for social media, for your website, whatever that might be. Doing what you're doing right now, Shannon, hosting leadership retreats and things of this nature. Like, this is a way to build your authority and also learn from other people who have authority in their space. But my big thing, coming from a world of broadcasting, I love podcasting. I love interviewing, having conversations, learning from people. And one of the things, so I'll just give you an example for myself. What brought me so much joy in my life was finding breakthrough. And when we find breakthrough in the things in our lives, that takes us to a whole new level. Not only do I now know about this thing, but now I really am living and breathing this, because I made a breakthrough in it. The mess that I had in my life, or the mess of whatever it was, became the message that I can take and now help other people. The thing that was a curse in my life, now it's become a gift that I can gift other people with. And I think when you're an authority, that's something that comes from a curse becoming a gift, a it's something that, man, this thing was so difficult in my life. This was something I didn't think I was ever going to overcome, and I had this major breakthrough, and now I can really speak to it with authority. So when I'm thinking of that, I think, man, podcasting is the place to do that, because I can speak to people who have had incredible breakthroughs in their lives. I can learn about their breakthroughs, find the patterns in breakthrough. And when I find the patterns from hundreds of stories and coaching sessions and podcasts of hearing stories of people's breakthroughs, you find the reoccurring themes that pop up over and over and over again. So I encourage people, as they're leveling up in their authority, you should have a podcast. You should have some sort of platform where you're pouring into people's lives, but you're also learning from other people and their journeys to find those common patterns.
I love that. Breakthrough is actually my word for this year. So
Amazing.
I love that you mentioned that. So how do we truly impact people and help them find a way to have these breakthroughs?
Well, I use a system for myself that worked for me. And so when I'm working with anybody, I use this system. I call it the vital system, VITALS, right? And vital to me is an important word too, because like the vital things in life, the things that are important to life, the things that are self-sustaining and give life to life. If I break down that acronym for vitals, number one is vision. So a vision for where you're going, a vision for why you're here and why you're doing what you're doing, and a very clear set of goals, a very clear outcome that you're working towards. Impact is the I. How do we create impact? Right? Whenever say I say a name, or I say like a term like leadership. If I say leadership, somebody probably pops up in your head. Is there somebody for you who pops up when I say that?
Yeah.
Leadership? Who?
What?
Who pops up? Whose name or face?
Oh, well, I have quite a few that I think of, but right now one of mine is Adrian Hill.
Okay. So that person has created impact in your life, right? If you say a word and somebody's name or face pops up, that is impact. So how do we create impact in people's lives? That's something that I built into this vital system. The T is for technology. So how are we using technology properly, right? And technology can mean many different things. Right now, when you hear technology, you probably think of AI, social media, right? Those are the big technology pieces. But we can use technology or let it use us. So how are we using it to leverage our breakthrough? How are we using it to leverage our authority? Um, the A is very simply taking action. Like how are we taking action? What are our activities in our life? And how are we taking action on those important activities that are moving us forward? The L is for leadership, because we all should aspire to be leaders in our own lives and leaders for others. That should be an aspiration we have. We shouldn't shy away from leadership. We should embrace it. Because if you want to have authority, you must be a leader. If you want to have breakthrough, then you have to be your own leader for your own life. There's no other way to do it. And the S is the most important one. That one is service. How are we being of service, right? How are we pouring out into other people? If I spend all my time by myself, wallowing in my own self-pity, I'm never going to make it anywhere. I'm going to be miserable. When I get out of my own way, get out of my own head, get out of my own house, and serve other people, now I get out of my shell. I help somebody else. I serve them, but I also build myself up because I'm no longer worrying about me. I'm helping others and helping them grow. So those six things, the vital system for me, those six things I recognized were the six big things in my life that created the breakthrough that I needed to have. And I can apply those six things, that vital system, to any breakthrough that I want to have now or in the future. So I help people implement that vital system for them into their life and
And
business.
that makes you the go-to expert in your field, right?
And
Because
that
you
makes
now
me the
have authority in that.
right, because I've done it. I've listened to thousands of hours of stories of breakthrough. I've experienced so many breakthroughs for myself. I know what it takes to have a breakthrough. So yeah, thank you. That's a great way of summing that up. That's how you become like a go-to expert in your thing.
I love that. I love it. So I know you touched on podcasts and content creation being a part of, creating authority, but can you go into more detail on why it's so significant?
Well, if nobody knows who you are and never hears you talk about the thing you have authority in, then do you really have authority in their mind? You know, if I mean, you could be somebody like I have a wonderful therapist, right, who has very strong authority in my life because she's very good at what she does, but outside of my local area, nobody knows who she is. So
Right.
she has authority, but it's limited authority. It's very, you know, transactional as far as how am I going to find out about her? It's usually through referral. And she likes it that way. So that's fine. I mean, you can have authority in a small space and do that in that space, and that's fine for you. But I feel, as I know you do, Shannon, called by God to impact more lives, to spread the message of the gospel, spread my message of who I am, why I do what I do, how I help people through my journey of making my mess my message. So the more people I can talk to about what I do, and the more people that I can share the message with, the more authority I'm going to have because that authority is going to spread to more and more people. So I just look at a platform like podcasting as a way for me, number one, to bring in credible people on my show that I can talk to, that I can learn from, that we
Right.
can connect together and grow relationships and bonds, but also I can go on other people's podcasts. And normally it goes like this. If you have a podcast, you're more likely to get on other people's podcasts. You can podcast swap and build those relationships, right? And now you're going into somebody else's audience. And in
Right.
that person's audience, you are talking about the thing you are an authority on. And then you can pass that authority even further, right? So, uh, podcasting for me is a fantastic way to do that. Any sort of content creation is a fantastic way to do that. But I just love podcasting in particular, and events like this that you're doing right now, right? Because it's not just me by myself. I'm collaborating with other people. So I'm meeting new people, learning from them. They're learning from me, and then we can build relationships, and that will continue on. And plus, all of our audiences. Your audience by yourself is one thing. My audience by myself is one thing. When we collaborate together, both of our audiences benefit from that. And I just always think of the ripple effect. You never know who's going to see or hear what you're doing or saying. You never know. You've no idea which words are going to have an impact, which platforms you talk on are going to have an impact. So you have to, at least from my perspective, do it as much as possible because then
Right.
you have a potential for more impact and more chance to spread that authority.
I love that. I love that. And I just feel like I love how you keep talking about the collaboration and the partnerships and connecting because I know that, as women, and that's who our audience is, we're typically relationship people. And so knowing that you have someone that you're doing this with, I think plays a vital role in knowing that you can still be an authority and still learn and connect with other people
Yeah.
and having that mentorship even of you never want to stop learning. There's always someone that you can learn from because I
Well, yeah. If you're an authority figure and you've stopped learning, then you're not really. It's kind of like I look as a coach. If I'm a coach, but I'm not being coached by somebody else, I'm not really a coach. Like
right.
if you're not moving forward, you're falling backward. I was just having this discussion with my son the other day because he wasn't grasping the concept. Like he thought he could just stop doing something and he would be as good as I'm good right now. I'll stop doing it. I'm fine. but you fall backwards, right? If you don't keep doing it. And that's a misconception in the world, like that, oh, I understand this thing, I can quit, like riding a bike. Yeah, okay. So there's some things you can go back and pick up and be good at. But if you hadn't ridden a bike in 10 years, you're going to be a little rusty on that bike. You might remember how to, but you're not going to be as good as you were when you were riding it every single day, right? So that consistency is so important. So constantly pouring into others and letting them pour into you. Iron sharpens iron. That's how life works. It was created a very specific way for a very specific reason. So we should embrace that.
Yes. And I love also in your vitals about serving other people. I know for me, sometimes I do get stuck in my head and all about me. And then when I go and I say, all right, I need to go serve someone else, it's amazing how all of the issues, all the problems of me being stuck here were all about me and how much better I feel. But I've also served someone else, whether it's going and bringing a meal to somebody, or it could just be walking into the store and complimenting someone. And it's a great reminder to get out of ourselves and go and serve people as well, because I think that that's an important piece that some people may miss.
You know, I used to think it was, I can remember specifically back in like my early 20s, I heard Tony Robbins talk for the first time, and he was talking about being of service to others. And I was like, please, like, why would I got my mindset was so completely different than it is now. I was so self-centered that I couldn't even wrap my head around why serving other people would actually help me. And this is the problem that our world, I guess, is stuck in. Not everybody, clearly, but this message needs to get out more, because we are so stuck in the I generation of like, it's all about me and I need to fix me, self-love, I need to love me more, right? Well, if I sit by myself all day long, some people, a rare amount, could sit by themselves all day long and just the love's just poured on them and they just build up their own love. I'm the opposite. If I sit by myself all the time, all day, and don't interact, then I start to wallow in me, right? The things that I'm not doing right, the
Me
things that I need
too.
to improve on, right? I think that's a lot of people. But when I get out and I communicate and I help other people, and I have a reminder on my phone that comes up every day, and it just says simply, who am I encouraging today? And it reminds me to not be so self-centered on just making sure I'm okay. It's for me to reach out to somebody and just give them some kind words. And my goodness, does that give you so much perspective? Because people will pour out. Look, I'll send that message sometimes, and somebody will be like, "Wow, you never could guess the kind of day I'm having today. I really needed to hear this from somebody." Just something simple like that, just a little bit of encouragement. So few people get encouragement throughout the day. Give somebody encouragement, pour out into somebody, and you're going to get so much back from that. So yeah, service is just everything. And I know that it's so true and powerful, because I had to literally learn it for myself, because I didn't believe it when I heard it back in the day.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the questions we ask at the dinner table is, who did you serve today? Or how did you serve someone today?
Yeah.
And I mean, my kids are almost 10 and 11, but
I have a 9-year-old, almost 10-year-old. We're right there.
okay. So, but even we're starting them even to know, hey, you get so wrapped up in you. What have you done for someone else today? And so I think that help training the next generation along to that is just really powerful. So
Yeah, I love that.
any final words you want to share with our audience?
Oh, Shannon, I just want to thank you for having me on. I love what you're doing. I love that there's so many people all over the world talking about leadership and legacy and just building people up. So I just encourage everybody out there, serve somebody today. What could you do to serve somebody today? And how could you serve them with the thing you're an expert at, the thing that you're an authority in? You need to use that as a gift that you were given, that you are really, your purpose to having that gift is to give it to other people and help them. So help somebody. I'll ask you the question that I ask myself every day on my phone. Who are you encouraging today? And how can you use your gift to encourage them?
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Working Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with a friend who's stuck in her career but doesn't want to sacrifice her family to grow? Also, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It seriously lights me up to know this show is helping you navigate burnout, find clarity, and lead with confidence. All right, time to shut down my laptop and pretend I'm not hiding from folding that laundry. I'll meet you back here soon for another episode of Career Growth for Working Moms. You've got this.